began, died virtually penniless, only to be recognized as great artists long after their time. It's a comparison, at least partially appropriate, to Phillies slugger Mike Schmidt. For years, Schmidt practiced his art before generally hostile Quaker City crowds, likely to be booed unless he hit a home run or made a spectacular play in the field. But in Schmidt's later seasons, Philadelphians, they finally began to appreciate the treasure they had so long taken for granted. Belatedly, but emphatically, they showered their long overdue affection on the greatest third baseman who ever played the game.
Mike Schmidt was baseball's most reluctant superstar. Statistics and awards affirmed his greatness, but his actions on the diamond seldom revealed either joy or sorrow. Schmidt's dispassionate nature can be traced to his early years in Dayton, Ohio. As a boy, Mike patterned himself after his hard-working yet unemotional father, but his interest in baseball was nurtured by a different role model.
My grandmother, on my father's side of the family, pretty much raised me as a young boy, and I can remember from age 3, 4, on up to, 10, 12, 13 in Little League, my grandmother driving me to Little League games, my grandmother pitching wiffle balls to me in the backyard when I was, big enough to hold a little plastic baseball bat.
His grandmother's devotion provided strength and a foundation for Schmidt's early successes in high school, college, and the minors. But his disastrous rookie season with Philadelphia in 1973 suggested that Schmidt would never be anything more than a journeyman ball player.
He hit less than 200 in his first year, and he struck out an awful lot. He was very frustrated that he wasn't able to attain instant success at the major league level. There were some that even in the organization that had their doubts about Mike Schmidt being a great player or being an everyday major league player.
I said, you're going to hit the way I want you to hit, or you can take off. I said, your damn 198 average didn't impress me or anybody else, and your 245 average over there didn't impress me.
Undaunted by the doomsayers, Schmidt proceeded systematically to prove them wrong. Literally overnight, Mike Schmidt became one of baseball's most formidable sluggers, winning the first of his 8 league home run crowns in 1974. It was also becoming apparent that Schmidt could beat the opposition with leather as well as the long ball.
For a guy that big, for a guy that was 6'3" and 215 pounds, he was so light. He had such great range for a big man. To me, the greatest third baseman ever to play the game because he gave you everything. You see him running down and catching foul balls clear down in the left field corner right near the stands. He gave you 10 gold gloves, tremendous defensive player, best to his left of anybody I ever saw, a third baseman. Knew the game, all put together in one package of just an outstanding athlete.
There was never a more dedicated student of the sport than Schmidt, whose grasp of fundamentals made him one of the game's most intelligent base runners. But it was in the batter's box where Mike Schmidt achieved his ultimate potential, while at the same time confronting his mortal limitations.
Come on, Mike, come on out. Bring the bat.
Schmidt led the Phillies to 5 division titles, 2 pennants, and a world championship. And yet the city of Philadelphia was profoundly ungenerous with the adulation and approval he so desperately coveted.
This guy is the greatest player in the history of the Phillies. And for almost the entire time he was around, people booed him every day. And I think it really went down to the style of play, the whole way Mike Schmidt went about things. He made it all look too easy. He made it look as though he almost wasn't trying to do all this stuff. And people began to look at him and think, what would this guy do if he sweated? if he put out the kind of effort that you imagine he had in him.
And I think the Philadelphia fan misconstrued that for not caring, for nonchalance, which couldn't be further from the truth, because Mike did care a great deal about every time he stepped to the plate and every time he stepped on the field, but he carried it all inside. The Philadelphia fan relates to a guy that, shows all this emotion and shows all this fire, and that's not Mike. Mike is a very laid-back individual, and a very quiet individual. And I think they just misconstrued that for not caring and for nonchalance, which wasn't true.
You bum! You stink! You stink, you bum!
The way of showing disapproval in Philadelphia is by booing. It's an ugly thing to do, but that's part of life in Philadelphia. I don't know how to put it any other way. At least they're not throwing golf balls at you, but, you know, they're booing. I've learned to live with that. It only happens when you're not playing well. If I continually played decent baseball, play at Mike Schmidt level, give him a good effort on a nightly basis, they don't boo Mike Schmidt. There's a misconception about performance as far as I'm concerned because of the expectation level of a player like myself. People tend not to notice the times when you come through because that's what they expect. I'm Mike Schmidt. I should do it. I'm not supposed to make an out with men in scoring position. When, the 4-0 hitter for the Phillies comes walking up there, there's supposed to be a line drive going somewhere, and preferably out of the ballpark.
The pitch to Schmidt. Long drive to left field. He buried it. He buried it way back. Out of
The home runs and MVP awards piled up. The Gold Gloves and league records became too numerous to count. Gradually, a subtle transition was taking place between Mike Schmidt and the fans of Philadelphia. After years of alienation, the city finally came to appreciate the fact that it had been their privilege to have witnessed the career of the greatest third baseman of all time.
And people began to look at this guy and what he'd done. Man, this guy's been a great player. This guy's been unbelievable. And this has been going on in front of our eyes for 12 years. It was almost like they never noticed it before. And it began to be a situation where finally people appreciated what kind of career this man had doing it his way. That's when he began to finally get some respect and was treated almost with reverence the last couple of years he was around.
The 3-0 pitch.
Hang along, drive! There it is! Number 500! The career 500th home run for Michael Jack Schmidt!
Many times I'm asked if I could have anything in my career over again, what would it be? My answer is I wouldn't change 1 second because everything that I am today, right now, this moment, is the sum total of all those events in my life and how I reacted to them, how I handled them. I wouldn't want it any other way.
And he himself may have had some doubts. He was far below his customary lofty perch among National League batting leaders. But in the summer, he caught fire. For 6 weeks, pitchers could not get Rose out. And the eventual all-time leader in hits crafted what was probably the greatest sustained achievement of his career, the longest hitting streak ever in the National League.
By 1978, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds had compiled one of baseball's most impressive resumes. He had captained his team to 5 division crowns, 4 pennants, and 2 world championships. Rose had been named an all-star at a record 5 different positions. He had won a trio of batting titles and had logged 3,000 career base hits. And yet, despite these achievements, Pete's days in Cincinnati appeared to be numbered.
The Big Red Machine was in the process of breaking up, and this was really their last go-round. And Pete was a year away from free agency. He'd been grousing about his contract for a long time. And it became pretty clear as the season went on that the Reds were not that interested in re-signing him. Pete had been almost an assembly line of 300 seasons and 200 hit seasons, and this didn't look like it was going to be one of them halfway through the year. And the streak almost came out of nowhere. And it took a while before I think people even began to catch on that it was in progress. All of a sudden, this became the event in baseball that summer. The difficulty of a hitting streak as opposed to any other feat in baseball is you got to do it every day. You can hit 400 without getting a hit every day. You don't have to hit a home run every day to hit 61 homers. You don't have to steal a base every day to break Ricky Henderson's record. But to break DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, you're talking about every day for 2 months. And Pete, as more and more people began to follow him around, almost began to thrive on all the attention. Every night, it became a bigger and bigger event and a bigger and bigger media circus. And the bigger the circus, the more Pete seemed to enjoy it. Very few guys were capable of that.
Tommy Holmes of the old Boston Braves was Pete's first target. Holmes was a solid, if unspectacular, outfielder. But in 1945, he established the modern National League hitting streak record of 37 straight games, a record that had lasted for 3 decades. On a warm July evening at New York Shea Stadium, with Tommy Holmes in attendance, Rose passed his first hitting streak milestone.
Tommy Holmes was not a guy who got a lot of attention in his career. And suddenly there was Pete and Tommy Holmes, and it almost made Tommy Holmes into as big a figure at that point as Pete was. And that was a very nice touch.
Little more than a week later, Rose had tied the 19th century mark of 44 straight set by Wee Willie Keeler. Now, only Joe DiMaggio's imposing 56-game streak was left for Rose to conquer.
The landmark line in the whole thing was when he invented a guy. He invented Sidney Stonestreet of the Rhode Island Reds. Now, Sidney Stonestreet did not exist. Pete was gone along, and he was passing all these big milestones. Now, here he was. There was nobody from 44 to 56. And so Pete said he was shooting for Sidney Stonestreet and his streak of 48 games in a row. People were saying, you know, we don't remember that streak that well. And that was because the guy never existed. But Pete said, well, it was a long way from 44 to 56, so I made the guy up.
On July 31st, Atlanta Braves pitchers Larry McWilliams and Gene Garber finally ended the streak at 44. And yet Pete's streak may have summarized his career better than any of his other accomplishments.
It was almost as if all the seasons as a whole made this great career. But if you started to go back and pick out a game, a feat, there aren't that many of them. This particular thing was almost a signature for him. Pete was the perfect guy to have a streak like this. This was the ultimate Pete Rose advertising vehicle, and he took it and wrote it for all it was worth. Pete thrived on it.
To win this ball game, Eisenreich scores. Here's Morandini. He scores, and they win it 7-6 in 20 innings. I don't believe it. Wow! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Davis had to play shallow. They had motioned him in. Davis wanted to play a little deeper. But with the tying run at third, the winning run at second base, the outfield came in about 4 or 5 steps closer than normal. So if there was a base hit, they had a chance to throw out the winning run. And Dykstra fooled them all by lofting a long fly down the left field line that hit just over the outstretched reach of Eric Davis for a ground rule double, and the Phillies win. So there you see it, 7-6, and we'll be right back. Don't go away, folks. There's your final, 7-6. And I don't know what the final word will be, but we'll be back. Well, here we are back at Veterans Stadium. The Phillies in 20 innings scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 20th to tie the longest game in Veterans Stadium history of 20 innings, 6 hours and 10 minutes. The Dodgers get 1 in the 20th. The Phillies get 2 in the bottom of the 20th on Lenny Dykstra's 2-run ground rule double over the head of Eric Davis in left field. Dykstra just took a strike on the outside corner. Nichols tried to come back with a similar pitch with the count 1-2, and he just puts this one over the outstretched reach of Eric Davis as the ball bounds into the bullpen area, and the Phillies pick up a magnificent win. There you see Davis again going back. He thought he had a beat on it. I think he thought he had that all the way, and he just never caught up to it. And Eisenreich scored, Morandini scored on the ground rule double, and the Phillies have the most improbable win imaginable after blowing that lead in the 9th inning and hanging in there like you can't believe that was this. I'll tell you, we've had a couple nights here, Jay, in the last week that you'll never forget. If you're going to play 20 innings, you might.
That's why they're 16-5. Phillies win at 5-3. Next stop, Los Angeles. They are climbing the walls in San Diego. Did it again on the scoreboard. Cards over.
Clark's 0 for 3 with a walk. Ground ball. It's fair ball. Kruk to Paul. The Phillies are the 93 National League Eastern Division champions. This wonderful band of throwback players has won the National League East, mobbing one another on the field. Lenny Dykstra, the dude, most valuable player of the team and maybe of the league. Jim Fregosi, the perfect manager for this type of team. There he is. What a job he did. These are characters. These are throwback players, and nobody could handle them better than Fregosi. This team astutely put together by GM Lee Thomas, and they have won the National League Eastern Division. 10-7 the final tonight, and it was a team effort. There is no doubt about that. Everybody on this ball club contributed. They are one happy bunch. Ricky Jordan coming off the bench for pinch hits. David West. Pete Incaviglia. Tommy Green. John Krut. Mickey Morandini. A happy bunch of fighting Phils who have captured the '93 Eastern Division Championship. There's their leader, catcher Darren Dalton. Darren Dalton is a horse behind the plate, and in the clubhouse, everybody listens to Dutch. Jim Fregosi, a happy man. Here's the final out. Bill Giles, wife Nancy, the First Lady Eddie Wade, GM Lee Thomas. The Phillies have won the '93 Eastern Division Championship. What a great job. What a fun team to be around, and what a fun year. And it's not over yet. This is step one. Phils will be in the league championship series against either the Atlanta Braves or the San Francisco Giants starting a week from tomorrow at Veterans Stadium. Jim Fregosi tosses his cap to the fans. A lot of loyalty.
One inning of his second major league start. But Ashby won only 2 of 8 decisions in a Phillies uniform. Went to Colorado in the expansion draft, then on to the Padres in the Greg Harris trade last summer. Tonight, in San Diego garb, he started at the vet against his old mates, Andy Ashby. Facing Gritty Gutty's back in the lineup after running into that wall yesterday. And this time he sends the ball like you're running into the wall, which is always safer. 2-0 Phillies, 2-run double. Your next hitter is Mariano Duncan. There's been a whole five-play between the Padres and the Phillies this year about stealing signs. Duncan accused Tony Gwynn of it. He gets hit. Bottom of the fourth, Dykstra already has 2 doubles. Facing Andy Ashby, and that would be a double. That's a triple-double. Duncan is up again. They send him down one more time, and it's Ollie Oxenfree. Brad Osman in the middle of it. Phillies bench coach John Vukovic jumps in, hits him at the center there. The Philly Fanatic starts beating up fans. Oh, it was a horrible scene. San Diego's only catcher, Osmus, was among those ejected, so Phil Clark went in and showed why he is more of a first baseman. Good utility player, except in that circumstance. Dykstra in the field, the full extension against Tony Gwynn. But the ball squeezes out. Philly fans remain pumped up for nails. And at the bottom of the 6th, he steals second base off Phil Clark. And then after advancing to third, Dave Hollins, fly ball, right field. Gwynn, he's in great position. Good throw, should have the left arm up, though. The throw, they're not going to get him. Beautiful slide past Phil Clark. Dykstra 3 for 3, big day, 2 walks, 2 runs, 2 RBI, 2 steals, and of course, your triple-double. Danny Jackson gets the victory on the 6-hitter, strikes out 9 for the first time since he faced the Padres at the end of September 1990. Ashby is not treated too well in his return. 6 walks, 7 hits.
Grabbed Osmus, and now they're after Ashby, and here we go. Somebody just got Ashby and pulling him away. That might be Jeff Duden that has Ashby. Well, let's see what happens. The catcher and Duncan got into it a little bit there at home plate. It looked like Vukovic had pulled him away. And then off the
we win. There's Incavilia. He wants somebody.
Well, it's not quite like the NBA, but a little action for you.
Well, now let's see what happens. You know, these things, all you do is get people suspended, and you hope none of that is going to happen tonight with ejections and suspensions to the Phillies.
Well, I think Flantier, if there is anyone that instigated it, no, excuse me, I mean the catcher, Osmus, if anyone instigated it, it would have had to been something he said to Mariano.
Fans enjoyed it. There's Tim Mauser, the former Philly, out there with former Philly Andy Ashby, Andy Bennett, big pitcher. And a little few smiles as they head off the field.
I think Duncan probably has to leave now.
Well, we'll see what happens. The umpires are convening now. All four umpires are out between the mound and third base. You see them there. And Jim Quick is the crew chief. And they're conferring on what, if anything, they're going to do. The Phillies are very short on infielders right now. And here's what happened. Duncan was drilled his last time up. And here comes another high fastball in on him, and he doesn't like it.
And he has a right to complain, and he does get stuff that says it doesn't go anywhere. But look at the catcher talking to him.
Hey, see, I said, get your hands off me, he's saying to Osmus. And now here we go. Look how quick John Vukovich was out there in the middle of it. Who grabbed Ashby? That's what I was trying to see. Off to our right, someone had, it was Jeff Jr. had a hold of Ashby where you can't see it. He was yanking him out of there.
I think, you know, Duncan has to leave. Ashby, as soon as he did it, and Duncan jumped up, threw up his hands to say, hey, I was not throwing at you. Here's Ashby right here, number 43. To see the action going over to the right. That's Vukovich right there.
Yeah, it was Juden who grabbed Ashby. he hog-tied Andy Ashby there. Now Ashby's going back at Juden, who's 6'8". Here comes Mickey Morandini into it. Here comes Danny Jackson, who's a pitcher in the game tonight. And they all have Andy Ashby under control. And now Fergosi's arguing at home plate like now. Like, how can you throw Duncan out? He didn't do anything.
He's got to go.
Yep.
Duncan has to go, and Juden would have to go, in my opinion.
How about the catcher?
No. I mean, he would not have done anything had not Duncan just pushed him around the throat.
Well, I guarantee he thinks one of them should go.
Yeah, he probably does. He doesn't want to lose.
He can't afford it.
Duncan, I don't know.
There goes Duncan.
Final game of the series, the Phils and the St. Louis Cardinals. Fanatic's birthday today. Big doings before the game as Billy Fanatic was honored by mascots across the country and hit a game-winning home run. Rolling over the Baltimore Orioles mascot. More mascots here from all over on Fanatic's birthday. The National League East, Montreal Stone PSFS Business Person Specials coming up Tuesday against Pittsburgh at 1:05. Take the afternoon off and enjoy the Phils and the Buccos. For tickets, call 463-1000 or stop by Mellon PSFS at Broad and Chestnut Streets. Mike Lieberthal leads it off for the Phillies. Takes one low for a ball. Lieberthal hitting at .211. 0-0 game, bottom of the second. One ball and one strike to Lieberthal. Two and one. Three and one to Lieberthal. To the opposite field, and this falls out of here. Opposite field home run, Mike Lieberthal. Phillies take a 1-0 lead and score the first run of this series.
Well, Larry Bowa didn't faint down there when Lieberthal passed him, so it must be a good sign that He was ahead on the count, and Benz had to lay a ball in there. Popped it over the right field fence. Good fastball there.
That'll bring up Kevin Jordan. Jordan had Mickey Morandini leads off for the Phils. Line drive hit, his second straight hit off Andy Bennis. Hit number 4 for the Phils. And the batter will be Mark Whitten.
He has a good stroke going for him today. That pitch was almost the same one he hit first time up. Down a little bit.
Mark Whitten struck out his first time up. 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the third. Strike to Whitten.
Threw that ball right where Borders wanted it. Inside corner. Thrown hard.
Morandini dives back safely. Mickey stole second in the first inning. He stole him 6 bases, and he hadn't been caught this year. Bennis keeping an eye on him this time.
Borders peeks into the dugout. They seem to call all the pitches from there. I believe it's LaRussa.
Well, they call the pitch out, certainly. Ground ball in the hole. That's a hit to right field. Morandini will hold out at second base. And it will bring up Todd Zeile. Phillies already have 5 hits off Andy Bennis.
Mickey had to wait there a little bit, and that's why he didn't go to third base. I didn't even try. What does Zeile try to do here, Harry?
Not hit a 3-run homer. That's what he tries
to do.
He's
not a bad hitter to the opposite field, and I think he'll take a shot at that. Like he did there.
Yeah, I think he did and missed it. No balls and a strike. One ball and 1 strike to Todd Zeile. He walked his first time up.
There's key pitches in every at-bat. This is one right here. Dennis does not want to go 3-1 with nobody out.
He hits it on the right side for a base hit. Here comes Morandini, and Jordan's throw is cut off, and they have Zeile caught between first and second. Zeile in a rundown, ball juggled, is thrown away. St. Louis
matches the play. Whitten scores. Zeal ends up at third base. Unbelievable, and the Phillies lead it 3-1.
That's hard to believe, the way that developed. I mean, they had no chance to get Morandini, and Zeal took that big turn at first. Should have never gotten to a rundown, but that rundown play was not a Spalding guide type.
Not really executed. Here it is now. They have him dead to rights, and here's Alicea, who drops the ball, and then he shot puts it over the head of Mabry and all the way to the fence fronting the stands. Here's Incaviglia, 1 ball and no strikes to 19 consecutive innings when he led off the second with a home run to the opposite field.
That infield drops back now.
Double play depth. It was Lieberthal's second home run of the year, his third career homer. Line drive center field, caught by Langford, but here comes Zeal, and he's going to score. Line drive sacrifice fly by Lieberthal, who hit it on the nose, and the Phillies now lead it 4-1. Second RBI of the game for Lieberthal.
He ripped that ball, too. It was a slider. Lieberthal stayed right on it.
Well, he is really seems to come of age, Whitey. He looks like a new man.
Yeah, he needs to play, that's all. You can't play him once a week and expect him to go out there. And he's going to get a lot of action, I think.
1-1. Cleveland leads Boston. Boston was ahead of that game, 4-2 behind Roger Clemens, who hasn't won yet. He's 0-3, and now Cleveland is ahead 7-5. What a start for the Boston Red Sox, Whitey. 4-13.
Well, you know, they've got a bad start, but they've got a pretty good ball club up there, and they'll come back and get themselves into that division race. That's a tough division.
Slap shot. Or not slap shot. That's the Sixers mascot. Fred Bird even came in from St. Louis. Steve Carlton's favorite mascot. Here's Todd Zeal. He has walked our energies on you. Mark Sweeney will lead it off for St. Louis as a pinch hitter. The mascots from around the country. There's a 49ers mascot with Philly Fanatic in honor of Fanatic's birthday here.
We're having a good time here today.
We have a defensive change for save this one from Mike Grace. Patalico appearing in his 8th game. He's won 1, lost 1. 4 saves in as many opportunities. 4.50 ERA. 8 innings of work, 8 hits and 4 earned runs. He struck out 10 and walked 4. Brian Jordan will be the first one to face him. He's grounded out, singled, and fly to right. Just missed inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Look, he's saved everything he's had a chance to save, but he's had trouble in the games that there were not save situations.
Fouled out of play. 1-1 the count to Brian Jordan. Scheduled to hit next Gary Gaetti and then John Mabry. Two and 1.
He really gets the adrenaline flowing when he's out there. Patalico.
Foul down the right field side, 2 and 2.
Lugosi is constantly trying to, tone him down a little bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Ricky out of Newington, Connecticut. Half swing foul.
He's throwing hard. Last night, Jordan got a base hit off Vitalico on a breaking ball, kind of a high breaking ball. And Ricky hasn't thrown it yet.
Another foul ball. Still 2-2. Vitalico was undrafted, signed by the Phillies as an amateur free agent in '91. As a catcher. Signed as a catcher. Into right field, Whitten right there. 1 down in the 9th inning.
And Jordan was just overpowered by that fastball. It ate him up, really. He didn't get much wood on it.
Brings up Gary Gaetti. He's grounded sharply to third, popped up, doubled, and scored a run. Line drive hit right field. Whitten juggles, recovers, and Gaetti will hold it first. They'll bring up John Mabry.
And Gaetti looks like a better than a .220 hitter, which he was hitting at the start of the game. He really has a quick bat. He had a pretty good pitch there out away from him. This guy's been kind of a pain to the pitchers.
Pain to Vitalico. He's 2 for 2 off Ricky, and now he's 3 for 3 off Ricky, and all of a sudden there are 2 men on base with 1 out.
I think he tried to field that ball, and had he fielded it, probably would have had a double play, but it just bounced over his glove here. He reacted very well. See, he got up there, and he couldn't snag it.
Jim Wright will come out and talk to Vitalico now as the Phils are in some trouble here in the 9th inning, leading at 4-2. We'll get a pinch runner for Mabry. And will be the youngest player in the National League, Miguel Mejia. Mejia is 20 years of age. Miguel Mejia running at first base. Two men on base with 1 out. Ken Ryan is starting to throw in the Phillies bullpen now. Just missed. 1 ball and no strikes. To Borders. Ron Gant has moved into the on-deck circle. Bouncing ball. It's not going to be 2, I don't think. Nope. No chance for a double play. But they get the runner at second base. Moving up to third, Gaetti. Borders at first on a fielder's choice, and with 2 outs, it'll bring on the pinch hitter, Ron Gant.
Just that high bounce. Morandini never got a chance to get the throw off. Vitalico struck Gant out in the 9th inning last night with a perfect 3-2 slider.
And Gant singled off him in St. Louis.
This guy is dangerous.
Hitting .250, pitched to him as a slider outside. 4 homers, 14 RBIs. He plays all the time, so this is his first pinch hit appearance. Missing inside, 2 balls and no strikes. None of them are easy, are they, Whitey?
Yeah. Jim Pagosi sweated a lot of close games out.
He has. Half of the Phillies games have been one-run games. 3-0. Luis Alicea is scheduled to hit next. Check swing foul, 3-1.
He had a green light there, too. He was ready to swing and tried to get his bat out of the way, but he didn't. I think you have to go after him, Harry. I don't think you want to walk him and get that tying run to second base. You know, he either get him out or he hits it out of the ballpark.
Break there. That pitch looked low.
I don't think so. You look at that pitch again, Harry, you'll see that is another good. I don't think it was low. You had the plate. Here it is. That's not low.
Okay, it was a good pitch. Full count. This is a big pitch in the ball game.
Same count he had last night, and he struck him out with a slider.
Third strike, struck him out. Ball game over. Ricky Bottalico gets the save, his 5th in as many opportunities as the Phils salvage one here against the Cardinals, winning it by a score of 4-2. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left for the Redbirds in the ninth. Bottalico notches his 5th save, and that'll earn our Sunoco save of the game. Sunoco will donate $100 to the St. Agnes Burn Center in the name of Ricky Bottalico as part of the Great Saves program. Phils win 4-2. We'll be back with the totals and a recap in a moment.
All right, thank you, Wheels. There's Bottalico's numbers. A win, 2 losses, 3 saves, 3.86 ERA in 18 games. Facing Barry Bonds to lead it off. Hitting it. Now Bonds charging the mound, and Bottalico is ready for him, and both benches are emptying, and that's a result of a stolen base. That is a result of a stolen base. You could almost feel that coming. When I came over here, I asked Wheels, is he going to hit him? And Wheels says, I don't know. And I didn't know for sure either, but, you know, that was inevitable as the big gang at the mound now, and that was because of the stolen base.
All I could tell you is, Harry, when that stolen base occurred, I mentioned it's getting a little testy around here. So, no, I'm not surprised. And you hope
Bonds
that nobody
stole
gets
a
hurt.
base with a score 9-2, and that really incensed the Phillies. So Bottalico hit him with the first pitch he delivered, and anybody's going to come out of the bullpen and do that, it would be Ricky B.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody was kind of ready for that. Just in case. You never know. You don't do what Bonds did, and you know, it did upset people a little bit, I think. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. That's what you worry about in these things. And now it's calming down as long as someone else doesn't start chirping. You know, usually that's what happens. They break up fairly fast unless somebody else starts saying something. And the umpires are doing a good job of getting this over with. But unfortunately, the Phillies are probably going to need another pitcher right away.
Yeah, I didn't see them eject Bottalico, but they might have. And now Eric Gregg and Mark Hirschbeck are huddling in front of the mound.
Well, Bonds has to go because he charged the mound, and he might be looking at a suspension too for doing that.
Bonds is definitely gone. I don't know about Bottalico. The umpires are huddling right now to decide. Bonds had been 4 for 4 with a triple, a homer, and 2 singles prior to that at bat.
Yeah, and he never hit for the cycle, and he won't now. Now Eric Gregg is talking to Dusty Baker.
Yeah,
Ricky
Batalico's
Batalico
gone.
will go. Yeah.
He's gone.
Here comes
Mark
Terry
Hirschbeck.
Francona out to see what exactly is happening.
And so Terry will have to get another pitcher up and bring in another pitcher. Batalico pitches the one man, Bonds, and hits him, drills him.
Well, here it is.
It was,
you know,
no doubt about it.
And he hits him low too. You know, I mean, hits him right on the leg. I mean, come on. And he charges the mound, and Ricky Batalico sees Barry Bonds coming, and look out! Just ducks and tackles him. The pile-up ensues.
They're right there.
That had to get a little heavy.
John Vukovich got out of the dugout in a hurry. He was right there.
I know you're probably surprised to see that happen.
Yeah. If Irish Mike Ryan were still coaching, he would have been in the bullpen from the bullpen in a hurry.
Jeff Kent was in there fast for the Giants to try and help his teammate. He was the on-deck batter. There's Batalico out of the game. And they're still trying to sort it all out here.
Dusty Baker. Jerry Spradlin is getting up in the bullpen along with Wayne Gomes. The Phillies have had to go to the pen early, had to go to the pen in the 4th inning. And that's all as a result of a stolen base that Bonds in the 5th inning stole second base.
It's 9-2.
With a score 9-2.
You don't do that.
And that's why that happened. I mean, the 4 hits, fine. He's going to get his hits. There's going to be no retaliation. But when you're burying a team on the scoreboard and you steal a base, it just doesn't play in some circles, and certainly not in Batalico's circle. There's Bonds.
Well, he's having a little trouble with somebody in the Phillies dugout, and I have a pretty good idea who it might be. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Probably Jeff Cooper, I guess, huh?
I doubt it. If it were Coop, you couldn't hear him. Coop doesn't yell that loud. Now, Eric Gregg's still talking to the home plate umpire, Jeff Nelson. What they have to do is make sure they write everything down, probably on the back of a lineup card out there, so they can file a report later. See him writing everything down there, the home plate umpire, and that's what Eric and he were talking about there. You know, what they want to make sure they file to the league president. And there's the umpire writing down what they feel happened in that incident.
And Wayne Gomes is taking his warm-up tosses for the Phils. We'll get up to this afternoon. Alex Arias.
Oh, what is this? I mean, what's he doing?
Why would he hit Arias?
Makes no sense, you know. Uh-oh, here we go again.
We're going to go again is right.
Oh, my. You know, that just doesn't. You know, Reader's got everything going right. Oh, well. Now the managers go. Reader goes. Another delay. There's John Vukovich with J.T. Snow. Alex Arias was almost incredulous about that. Like, what is this for?
2 outs, nobody on base.
He's just telling Alfonso to get his hands off him. That's what that was. Look at Alex. He's about as mild-mannered a guy as you could ever be around.
He's upset. Mark Parrott has been one of the real peacemakers in both of these fracases. Parrott, as big as he is, people listen to him, certainly.
There's other guys you'd rather tangle with, I would think.
teams go back to the benches now after a second bench clearing incident here in this ball game. I would expect Reeder would have to be thrown out.
But they got to go. I mean, they give warnings after the first one. I mean, it's elementary. Now they got to get a pitcher and give them all the time that's needed to warm up. There's Eric Gregg and the umpires talking it over out in front of home plate. Reeder's still standing around. Of course, they have to deem that was intentional. Well, that's a no-brainer.
Arias will have to be kicked out. Here it is.
There it is. I mean, he threw it right at him. I mean, that's very obvious.
He's had too good a control. Hadn't walked the batter all day.
Well, he aimed it right at him.
Now Eric Gregg is trying to haul Dusty Baker, who's very upset. And Eric Gregg is walking Dusty Baker back toward the dugout. Here comes Terry Francona. Francona, maybe they haven't kicked out Reeder.
That's amazing.
Maybe they have not kicked out Kirk Reeder. He's still out there.
Well, you figure they'd given warnings automatically after that first incident, so that one there would get him kicked out. But we'll see.
He seems satisfied with whatever Mark Hirschbeck told him, and he heads back to the dugout.
Or maybe now they're giving the warnings. Normally that just happens after you have one of those.
Yeah. Well, Reeder's still out there. Fans are unhappy about that. Herb Schilling doesn't agree with that decision.
How could you tell? Well, you lip reader?
Well, yeah. That was one of the times he did not put his glove over his face when he said something.
It's a good time to keep the mics off near the dugouts. Now Eric's over explaining it to Terry Francona. You see Dusty Baker looking at. Now he's telling him he's not. I guess he's just said he's not throwing him out, and you saw Tito go, why?
This has not been pretty here this afternoon. No. 14-3 San Francisco.
It's a great day for the family picnic after this game.
Yeah. Suppose the Giants will be invited to that family picnic.
A lot of good feelings down there right now. These two teams still have to meet again tomorrow afternoon here.
They do. Terry's upset that Reeder is allowed to stay in this game. And I can understand why. I don't think that ball slipped.
No, he aimed it, threw it right at him. You know, sometimes
he hadn't walked the batter.
Sometimes, you know, you're reading minds when you see this stuff. But that one, I mean, he just aimed it right at his hip. Jeff Kellogg's going to have a full card. He's down there writing on it again. I mean, Jeff Nelson.
Desi Relaford will come on to pinch run for the ejected Alex Arias. And he'll probably stay in the game and play short.
These are exchanged, and then just for effect, the bench is empty. No punches thrown, and that was about it. Bird did get his rough.
The Phillies tried to make a statement this weekend. You gauge where you are as a baseball team when playing the Atlanta Braves at this time of the year. The Phillies already had come from behind to win 2 of 3. Sunday, the same thing had to happen. Let's go to Veterans Stadium. It had to happen because with the Phillies leading, they weren't leading 1-0 there, but Paul Bird hits Eddie Perez. It wasn't too bad, a little dink off the shoulder. But the Phillies were leading in this game after the players got back to the bench and Paul Bird got back to the mound. And that's the 4th inning. That's Ryan Klesko with the Phillies up 1-0. That's a ding-dong to left field. So now it's 1-1. We're still in the 4th. That's another ding-dong. That one's also to left field. And that's Randall Simon, so it's 2-1. Andrew Jones in the 6th inning. You can't throw that ball down the middle of the plate. It doesn't work that way. All right, the Braves go up 3-1. Now, in the 8th, they were up 4-1, and Tom Glavine was breezing. With the bases loaded, Ron Gant hits a ball in the gap. That'll score 1 run. That'll score 2 runs. That'll score 3, and the game's tied going into the 10th inning. Steve Montgomery on the hill. 4-4. Chipper Jones at the plate. Lots of home runs today, and the Braves got most of them. That home run gives the Braves a 5-4 lead, and John Rocker came in to close it down in the 10th. The strikeout right there, Bobby Abreu. Atlanta wins it 5-4 and 10. The Phillies will play tonight against Florida. It was a home run fest again in baseball.
House coffee to the vet, and you can redeem it for a free 200 or 300 level seat to the ball game. Fans must redeem the cans in the center field parking area, 1 can per person. Maxwell House will donate all the cans to Phil Abundance for distribution to local shelters and food banks. Whoops, so he hits Arias. Oh, he threw him out of the game. There were no warnings, were there?
No.
He just threw him out of the
He can
game.
do that.
Sure he can.
It's his discretion.
Wow. But usually, Andy, you don't see them throw him out on the first one. Look at Smoltz. Look at his eyes. I don't blame him in a way. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you wonder about some of the rules you have, but gee, there were no warnings given, and he hits Arias and he throws him out of the game. That's amazing.
Well, you know what part of the reason is Eddie Perez making that big to-do about getting hit. So then somebody else gets drilled, you know, and you got to figure maybe with 2 outs, nobody on, he's going to throw at him. Now, Smoltz is saying, hey, he hit Eddie Perez twice.
Right. And he did. I mean, you should be allowed to protect him a little bit. Wow, that's amazing. But John Smoltz is gone, folks. So they're going to have to bring another pitcher in. They'll give him time to warm up.
Well, there's going to be a warning now. Jerry Mills is going over to the third base dugout. Smoltz is livid. Absolutely livid. I can't really blame him. He's going to protect his hitters, and as a pitcher, you got to do that. You're a veteran pitcher. You're going to protect them, and they respect you. Your teammates respect you when you do that. You say, "I'm going to stand up for you." You expect to get a warning there. You do not expect to get tossed.
I mean, Alex Arias, you know, he got hit and he ran down to first, and I'll tell you what, Terry Francona came out very if that had happened to the Phillies, he'd have gone berserk.
Yep.
And rightly so. Smoltz should not have been ejected for that.
A little bit of an overreaction maybe there by Jerry Mills. I should say maybe. Totally, yeah, you're exactly right.
You saw Pat Corrales come out, who's the acting manager now after Bobby Cox got thrown out arguing last day.
And Russ Springer.
Yeah, so here comes Russ Springer again. Whoa, we got some emotions here in this yard tonight. Now, here it is, and that's why I asked you about Lieberthal. You felt somebody was going to get hit this inning.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was throwing at him.
But look at Alex. He knows. Threw it, and he doesn't throw at his head.
Well, the one thing when that happens, and you know, Alex might not like it, and if you don't like it, the one thing you can do is you can say to Paul Bird, hey, you better get a little better command of that fastball inside. You know, you've hit 13 guys and you hit the same guy twice, and I'm not going to take the brunt of your lack of control when you pitch inside.
Now there you see the argument, and boy, John Smoltz was wild
on fire.
Now this is live as we get back to acting manager Pat Corrales waiting for a spring. Look at his eyes. Look at this. Whoa.
Wow. Corrales comes in there to get him out. You want to make sure he doesn't push him or lean on him or anything like that.
Yeah, Pat wants to argue a little bit, but he's trying to keep his catcher in the game too, because they've lost Javi Lopez for the year. Now if there's Terry Francona and Paul Bird, you know, and Paul Bird said, man, I didn't try to hit him. I'm not going to try and hit anybody.
No.
Tito, honest.
The thing about it is, we said, you know, we talked about he's hit 13 guys this year. He does not have real good command when he comes inside.
And he needs to pitch inside. But Terry Francona is just telling him there, look, we need you tonight. Don't be pitching inside too much. You hit somebody, you're gone. And so am I, come to think of it. Well, there goes Smoltz, and he is livid, and he has every right to be, and so do the Braves for that. That was total overreaction. Well, we're going to take a little break and come back. This is fun here tonight. Phillies with a 4-0 lead. It's a wild night here. I mean, we've got hit batters, power failures, power by the Phillies. They lead it 4-0.
Well, they might have lost a little electricity in that light bank, but they didn't lose any electricity on that field, that's for sure.
Well, there are some emotions down there tonight as Bobby Cox has been thrown out, and now out of the game is the starter John Smoltz as Russ Springer comes into his 28th game, all in relief. He's a 6'4", 205-pounder out of Alexandria, Louisiana, makes his home in Pollock, Louisiana. Phillies had Russ for part of 95 and 96. Appeared in 51 games for the Phillies in 96 and 14 in '95 after he came over from California in a deal. They had a controversy to see what the league's doing against him. They had a controversial call at second that went the Phillies' way, and now Smoltz hits Arias in retaliation for Bird hitting Perez, and he's thrown out of the game without a warning.
Well, Smoltz is a little maniacal right here, and
Eddie Perez is after Bird. Holy mackerel! Look at this.
That's a joke.
This is really.
I tell you, Eddie Perez ought to be just suspended right now for a good while.
Well, someone's going to look for him in this pile. Now, hopefully nobody gets hurt.
Kleschko's just grabbing guys.
Oh boy, this is a bad one. Look out.
Well, they got to get somebody, get Eddie Perez off of him. Eddie Perez is still swinging.
Man,
this is crazy.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Schilling right down there at the bottom. He was in there trying to protect Bird.
Look at Roller. Well, and all you hope, Andy, you know these things.
You hope nobody's hurt.
Oh, here comes some more pushing and shoving here. That was Poole and
Gant's taking somebody out of there.
That's Gant taking Gerald Williams because he and Poole were starting to push each other.
They got Chipper Jones and Lieberthal.
Here's Paul Bird.
It's all down there.
And Paul Bird's over here to the left with Rico Brogna with his shirt out. And he has to be a little shook up by that. I mean, he was at the bottom of a nasty pile.
Well, there should be one suspension and one big suspension for Eddie Perez, and that should be all there is to it.
They ought to run Eddie Perez out of this game right now.
Oh, he's out. He's out of the game. There's no question about it. But he ought to be out for about 2 weeks. There is no excuse for that. That's just flat stupidity right there by that man. This is not hockey, it's baseball, and guys get hit and things happen, but you don't have a pitcher come up to the plate and turn and just start wailing on him.
Now they're milling around down there a lot, and the umpires want to get them away. Both sides are still doing an awful lot of milling around, and this is when things resume. So they need to get them separated and get them out of there. There goes Perez, and the crowd's cheering him, but that's a bonehead move he just made.
That's just flat stupid. That's a stupid thing to do.
Paul Bird is, there he is.
I tell you, a tough thing in this situation, I've been in the middle of them, is your heart's pounding 100 miles an hour, your legs are shaking. It's like anybody, a lot of people have been in a fight. And you know, Bobby Cox, now he's out on the field. He's been tossed, but he's out on the field trying to restore order with his club. But as a pitcher, you're shaking. You're like, what the heck?
At least he's hitting now and not pitching.
But when he goes out to the mound, there's going to be some adrenaline. There's going to be some shaky legs out there. And you just hope that he can calm down enough to, you know, get control, restore control within himself.
Well, he had to take a pounding down there under that pile. Who knows what happened to this guy? I mean, it's not like he's a big man. Now the umpires are talking over what's going to happen here. Obviously Eddie Perez is gone, so they'll have to bring Greg Myers in to catch. There's John Scherholz, who's the general manager of the ball club.
Well, they got the trading deadline coming up. That man right there might be trying to make another deal for a catcher because they're going to lose one for a while.
Sure, he's going to be suspended for that. He can appeal it, but he'll have to serve it.
If he's not suspended, I'll quit this job.
And Paul Bird should be able to stay in this game, and he is. Now, Pat Corrales is the acting manager. Steve Ripley, the crew chief, is over talking to Pat about what they're going to do here. Myers is down there with the equipment, and he's about ready to come into the game behind the plate. They just acquired him the other day from San Diego after Javi Lopez went down. There's Myers.
Francona up talking to Paul Bird. Well, he might have got a little mouse under that eye. I mean, it's a sucker punch. He comes up there not expecting to get drilled.
Really?
Well, this is after it's already started. One thing it's good to see, I mean, Klesko's pulling guys off. He's not trying to hurt anybody, but he's just pulling guys off, trying to get guys off the pile. The one thing you don't want to see is guys going in there and pulling cheap shots, and I didn't see any of that, which is, you're going to have it. It's nice to see that, other than the first sucker punch by Perez.
Yeah, well, that's what got it all started, obviously, and the next thing you know, Paul Bird was down on the ground under that pile. And now he's going to come up and hit after just being hit. There's Myers into the ball game. They're down to one catcher. Though Keith Lockhart, we understand, is an emergency type catcher. Oh, we've had some time here tonight. Russ Springer just threw one by. Russ Springer just threw one by the catcher Myers.
I tell you what, he's tight out there, and you're not going to be relaxed out there when you just go through this. I mean, he was on the mound when it happened, so he's going in there to, you know, try and protect his guy. Whoa.
Well, those are never pretty, and that one there was no reason for it. None.
What's a more stupid word than stupid? Whatever that is, that's what Eddie Perez, that was what that action was of his.
Well, I tried to be nice and just call him a bonehead.
Well, I'm not saying he's stupid. I'm saying what he did was stupid.
Right, exactly. That's just a bonehead play. Because now they're down to one catcher. There comes Paul Bird, and they're booing him. Well, that's what you would expect in a visiting park. I mean, that's understandable. So I think we're going to resume. We've had a few stoppages of play tonight. Once when the lights went out, and other times on some altercations in the home plate area. I hope we can just play ball the rest of the night. There's Alex on at first after the 2-out hit batter, and the first pitch on its way now to Paul Bird from Springer. And he pulled off a little bit. That's understandable. Of 91-mile-an-hour fastball, ball one, but I don't think Springer's going to even come near it.
Well, Springer is not a control artist. He's walked 13 in 26 innings. I mean, he can get a little wild.
This is another thing where the judgment goes on the umpires now. You know, you put a lot of pressure on them. They've already made a mistake tonight on what they did originally, but now they have to decide if a pitch comes close. Do you throw people out? Now, if the warnings have been delivered. That's a hack by.
He came out of his shoes for that one.
By Paul Bird. He does compete.
That's one thing about this here. With after this happened, you get the warning. Oftentimes you will see hitters going up there and just swinging for the downs because they don't have to worry about a guy pitching inside. It's very tough to pitch inside because it is up to that umpire's discretion, and if you let one get away with it, you can get tossed.
And we're only in the 4th inning. Paul fouls it into the upper deck behind home plate.
Doesn't look like Paul Bird was hurt too much.
I think the fans want that guy that caught that ball to throw it at Bird. That's what they were doing. Now they're booing him down on the field. They were telling him to throw it back on the field at Paul. Outside, 2-2. That would be a new one. A foul ball being thrown back at you. They throw the homers back, but not a foul ball. And that fan's smart because if he throws that ball back and they see who does it, that'll be the end of his evening. He said, man, I paid $30 for these tickets. I'm not leaving here.
I'll tell you another thing. I got to hand it to Kurt Schilling. He was out there right on the bottom of that thing trying to pull Eddie Perez off of Paul Bird, and he ended up. This is how it started here. Eddie Perez comes back to the plate after going to the mound, and then Bird says, I'm not trying to hit you. That's what at least he got his arms tied up.
Boy, he just smokes the ball to center. Long run Jones, and Klesko made a good play. Boy, Paul Bird almost turned it around with a double to left center field, but Klesko makes a heck of a play. What an inning that was. For nothing to have happened. One man left on base, 4-0, and this place is rocking.
He was expected back this week on our road trip. He will pitch today at Lakewood. And maybe be back as early as Tuesday.
There's a chance, yeah.
Travis Lee hitting at .252. Happy Father's Day, pal.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
balls and no strikes to Travis Lee. That one over, 2-1.
Travis a little confused. The first two pitches look better than that one.
Hot shot off the tip of the glove of a diving Jerry Harrison. Travis Lee has the Phillies' second hit off Jose Mercedes. I'll bring up Johnny Estrada. He has homered in each of the first two games of this series. He's hitting at .268. 3 homers, 14 RBIs, and all of his home runs have been hit here at home at Veterans Stadium, where his batting average is .348.
The Phillies were down the first two games 5-3 fairly early, and they kept chipping away in a big fashion.
One strike to Johnny Estrada. Carlo and Marie Pesolano of Jacksonville, Florida, celebrating his 60th wedding anniversary on this June the 17th. One the count to Estrada. Phillies have some runs to get back, trailing 5-0 here in the second inning, but lots of innings in which to do it.
On top of that, the ball seems to be carrying pretty well.
See if that's not going to carry. Caught by Brady Anderson in right field. Our Pico Energy Power Rankings, Barry Bonds with 36 home runs leads the major leagues. Luis Gonzalez of Arizona has 27. Surprisingly, the American League leaders are well behind Bonds and Gonzalez. Manny Ramirez with 21, Carlos Delgado with 20. Marlon Anderson hitting at .267.
He's hitting 7 straight, hitting .500, 11 for 22 over his last 7.
Mercedes delivers a strike to Marlon Anderson. Will take part in the ALS autograph and auction party tomorrow night. We'll fight against Lou Gehrig's disease, and then right after that we'll fly out to Pittsburgh. Watch this, baby. Tremendous home run. Marlon Anderson. The Phillies have 2 of them back. Number 7 for Marlon Anderson.
Go with his 30th RBI, and that was a blast right there. Well, he has been swinging the bat well lately.
So that's 2 of them back. It's now a 5-2 ball game.
Middle of the plate, down the left-hander's sweet spot. He hits it, has a little hop to his step.
And we'll bring up Amari Telemaco. Gave it a pretty good ride into the upper deck. Way foul. Got that Sammy Sosa swing. Look at the home runs in this series.
Wow.
Nothing in 2 to Telemaco. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Mercedes. 2 down here in the second. Well, some oddities in this series. All kinds of things have happened. The bullpen has pitched well, but they've also hit well.
Well, they have. Vicente Padilla with a bullet there. Ricky Vitalico also, same thing last night. Padilla the first night. 2 relievers with a double in each of the games they pitched.
Calico with that double last night, moving ahead of you in the relief pitchers all-time RBI list.
Yeah, just squeaked ahead of me.
Doug Glanville grounded to short his first time up. 2-0 to count to Glanville. Dolores Hines of Bethlehem celebrating an 81st birthday, which is from her friends and from us to Dolores Hines of Bethlehem. 2-1 to Doug Glanville. It's a 5-2 game. Baltimore leading. Is this one out of play?
The Phillies were 10th out of 16 teams in home runs, and Baltimore was last out of 14 teams in the American League in home runs, and we've got 15 of them hit here. And we're only in the second inning of the 3-game series, third game.
Got him with an off-speed pitch, changed up on him. Third strikeout for Mercedes. 2 runs on 2 hits, a homer by Myron Anderson. No errors, none left. They move to the third inning. It's Baltimore 5, Phillies 2.
Baseball is brought to you by Pico, no doubt about it. By your local Tri-State Toyota dealers. More choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Pat Burrell, Travis Lee, Johnny Estrada to face Jose Mercedes. 1-8 on the season, but pitching well here this afternoon. Has just surrendered a 2-run homer to Marlin. Burrell swings and misses at a changeup or a breaking ball. 0-1. He struck out twice today. Phillies have not a lot of scoring opportunities off this 30-year-old right-hander. That's over. 1-2. Mercedes last year after the All-Star break was tremendous.
He was unbelievable.
11-3 with a 3.03 earned run average, and pitching like that here this afternoon. Trying to give his team a big lift after they have just had a bullpen meltdown in the first 2 games of the series. And Burrell works the count full, 3-2. He does throw a lot of pitches and run deep counts, but so far they really haven't hurt him.
Well, he's got to be close to 100 or just over it.
And a walk. And Pat Burrell's a leadoff base runner. Second straight inning they've gotten their leadoff man on. The next BPS is coming up on Wednesday, June the 27th at 1:05. Phillies and the Atlanta Braves, another Mellon business person special. Tickets are going fast for that one, so come on down and see the Phillies and the Braves on Wednesday afternoon, June the 27th. 215-463-1000, anytime online at Phillies.com. Oh, nope, he was not taking it out. Hairston made a great play. Roberts wants to say he was taking the ball out of the glove. The second base umpire Cooper says no. So the Phillies have 2 on and nobody out.
They caught a break there because I think if Roberts was trying to turn 2 there, if he'd have just tried to catch the ball and get off the bag, they should have had him. But he didn't. A nice play by Harrison again as he gets the ball up there. And you see Roberts just look like he tried to be quick and make a turn.
That's a good call, too, because he was not taking that out of the glove. Last Sunday in Boston, the same thing happened and didn't get the call.
Nope.
So they get a big break there, as Andy says, and there's 2 on and nobody out, and the error goes to, well,
an error, or is it
I guess a fielder's choice. Oh, that's a potential double play ball. There's 1 and 2. So the Phillies are just not able to put anything together today as Estrada hits into a double play, and Burrell winds up at third.
Well, he pulls this ball something like off speed, up and away, and a real good swing there.
Anderson has had a good game, a 2-run homer and a bunt single. Kevin Jordan moves out the bat for Vosburg, and Marlin can keep the inning alive. Now they're down to a potential of a 2-out run. Outside, ball 1. There's Kevin Jordan and Riel Cormier up in the bullpen. There's a nice scene. Are they checking out the bullpen? Very pleasant afternoon here now that the sun's out. Humidity's down a little bit. 1-2 on Marlin after that deluge of rain around the Philadelphia area yesterday. Travis Lee, a 2-out base runner at third. Hit and maybe more for Marlin Anderson. He knocks in Travis Lee, and Marlin will throw on the brakes. Nice play by the left fielder Gibbons to cut that ball off, but Marlin's knocked in all 3 runs today, and he's 3 for 3. It's 8-3 Orioles.
Boy, he is just swinging an unbelievably hot bat right now. Lines this just over the glove of a leaping Roberts at short, but a nice play in left by Jay Gibbons to hold him to a single.
And Kevin Jordan will bat for Ed Vosburg, who gives the Phillies 1 good scoreless inning. Here's the numbers on KJ. Batting at .281. And takes a strike.
I think right now they'd like to just get Mercedes to throw some pitches, get him out of the game, get into that bullpen. See if they can have the same luck they've had the first 2 nights.
2 outs here in the 6th, and Jordan fouls it back, and he's quickly in the hole 0-2, and a nice catch down below us. Key State Chrysler dealers sponsoring the cap day today. You see a lot of them in the stands. Good looking cap, and a perfect day to wear it on this sunny afternoon. Outside, 1-2. There's the score. Phillies with a run in here in the 6th inning, still down by 5. But it was a 2-out RBI by Marlin. 2-2. Doug Glanville on deck. He's 1 for 3. And Kevin Jordan trying to deliver here, one of the toughest jobs in the game. Pinch hitting. He hasn't played much. Come off the bench and deliver.
The bench has done a super job this year.
And he fouls off a breaking ball. And Mercedes talking to himself a little bit there as he got a slider up in the zone. Brian Hunter, there's Turner Ward there in the middle. He has not seen action yet. Philly just brought him up. Good at bat by Jordan. Down in the count 0-2, and now a full count. So that means the runner at first, Anderson, will be off.
Mercedes wanted this pitch here. See him kind of looking in, going, come on.
Marlin will break. He goes, and Jordan fouls it off. Stays alive. Eight 8-0 for the Orioles, 3-7-1 for the Phillies. Orioles have out-homered the Phils 3-1 today. Phillies have hit 5 pinch hit home runs this year, one of them by Kevin Jordan, a grand slam. And he nubs one to second. Hairston will throw him out. They pick up a run in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Thanks to Larry Anderson. Harry back in the 7th. Orioles by 5.
Toyota Interleague scoreboard. Boston still leading Atlanta. They're in the 7th inning. It's 4-2 Red Sox behind Frank Castillo. Colorado has a 4-1 lead on Cincinnati in the 8th inning. Larry Walker, a 3-run homer, is 21st. Toronto and Montreal are tied 1-1. They are in the 7th inning. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, pitchers duel here. Nothing in the 9th inning. Cleveland started C.C. Sabathia and Pittsburgh Todd Ritchie. Kansas City and Milwaukee, they're in the 6-1-1, exchanging solo homers. Joe Randa for KC, Richie Sexton for Milwaukee. St. Louis 5-2 lead on the White Sox in the 6th, and in that game, Mark McGwire was ejected. The Cubs have a 4-2 lead on Minnesota in the 5th inning behind Kerry Wood. And here it is 9-3. We have quite a few changes. Brady Anderson has moved from right to left field. Moving from center field to right field is Chris Richard, and Melvin Mora now playing center field for Baltimore. And the new pitcher is 34-year-old Mike Tremblay. Tremblay has good stats. He's won 2, lost 1, saved 4, a 2.84 ERA. This is 32nd game. One ball and no strikes to Pat Burrell. Tremblay has pitched 38 innings, 25 hits, 12 earned runs. He has struck out 33, walked 18. And opponents hitting just $191 against him.
He blew a save the other night against the Mets. We've seen him before, though. He has pretty good split. Breaking ball and fastball. His split's his out pitch.
See his numbers. Pretty good numbers. 2 balls and a strike to Pat Burrell, who was struck out twice and walked and scored a run. Bottom of the 8th, Baltimore on top by a score of 9-3. Up and in, 3 balls and a strike to Burrell. Ball in the hole, a base hit to left field. And Pat Burrell's a leadoff base runner here for the Phillies in the 8th inning.
Well, Philly just looking for base runners, and Pat Burrell got a fastball, 3-1. Leadoff is single, 6 runs down, so they just have to try and get some people on base.
Travis Lee is 2 for 3. Slams the ball foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to Travis Lee. O's lead by a score of 9-3. We are in the bottom of the 8th. Outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jose Mercedes going 7 innings. Now it's Tremblay.
Well, that was close. But, you know, I mean, he's a little inconsistent today.
1-2 the count to Lee. Beats the ball foul, still 1-2.
That looked like his changeup, his splitter. And that's what Tremblay's out pitch is. And you see, showed what good numbers that he has. And, you know, when you have that kind of numbers against left-handed hitters and you're a right-handed pitcher, you usually have a good changeup of some kind. Or some kind of trick pitch.
He's high with it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Travis Lee.
Orioles are playing off Pat Burrell at first base with a left-handed batter Lee and a big lead. So they're taking that hole away.
David Segui, you see. Still 2-2 to Lee. Phillies have a couple of tryout camps coming up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Tuesday, June 26th at Lackawanna County Stadium. Registration at 9:30. All camps start at 10. And then Thursday, June 28th at Rich Ashburn Field across the street from the vet in FDR Park. Tryout camps are for players ages 15 to 22. Bring your own glove and spikes. American Legion players must bring written permission from their post captain commander. Ken Holtzapfel, Mage McDonald, Rob Holloway, Joe Romano, and Del Mintz will be there for those tryout camps in Scranton Tuesday, June 26th. And at FDR Park in Philly, 28th. Registration at 9:30. Long run for Jeff Conine, but he's going to run out of room. It's about 4 rows back. And it's still 2-2 to Travis Lee.
Travis Lee's giving this guy a really good at bat because he's throwing him a lot of those changeups. A few fastballs, but he's trying to get him out with a changeup.
Gets a base hit after fouling off a lot of pitches. Burrow had stopped at second, so they have to hold there. The ball was juggled by Chris Richard out there.
Yeah, but you have to stop there. I mean, Pat did a great job of aggressively going through the bag at second, but the worst thing that can happen is that somebody thrown out in the bases when you're down by 6 runs. Great at bat by Travis Lee. Finally got a pitch he could handle. There, see, it's bobbled there by Richard, but but Pat Burrell had already been held by Mark Bombard. Here comes Mark Wiley out. They have seen almost everybody they brought into a game this weekend torched. And Tremblay's the last guy to come out of their bullpen. And they certainly don't want to see a repeat. There's Buddy Groom. He actually had one good inning here the other night.
Groom has been the only bullpenner in this series that has been effective. You see their relievers' earned run average. It's 4th highest in the American League. Johnny Estrada will be the batter here with 2 men on base and nobody out.
Now, Johnny Estrada has to be careful here because what Tremblay is going to try and do is what happened last time. Is just throw something soft away and try and get him to hook it to the right side into that rally-killing double play. So if the ball's away from him, he has to think hit it away or take it.
$36,911 the paid attendance here. And this Father's Day 2001. Fitted caps for all men. 15 and over today.
Now there's that a good approach that he just had. You throw that changeup down and away, take it, because that's a double play ball. Tried it again.
One. Missed with it, 2-0.
He's a veteran pitcher, and that's what he's trying to do. He threw a fastball that time, but he's still trying to just nibble away to try and get that double play.
At the outside corner with that one. Tremblay spent most of his career with Minnesota. Last year he was with Baltimore. And he's fallen behind Estrada 3-1.
Well, Johnny really has to lock into his zone now. Marlin on deck is red hot. 3 for 3 today. Knocked in all 3 Phillies runs.
And Tremblay loses Estrada. He's liable to be out of there. Full count. to Estrada.
That was actually a pretty good pitch to hit. It wasn't one of those low ones down and away that's a double play ball waiting to happen.
He's .639 lifetime is Trombley with 42 saves. Base hit right field. Burrow being waved around. He will score, and it's a 9-4 ball game on the RBI single by Johnny Estrada.
Hey, that's a heck of an at-bat by Johnny Estrada. And here comes Hargrove, and he's going to bring Groom in to pitch to Anderson. But, you know, he didn't go fishing early in the count the way that they were trying to get him to do. He finally got the 3-2, and he had a better idea that he might get a sinker down and away, and that ball he could handle, and hooks it into right field for the base hit. So, boy, the bullpen this weekend for the Orioles has really been a struggle.
So they'll bring in the left-hander, Buddy Groom, to face Marlon Anderson. We have a pitching change for the Baltimore Orioles. We are in the 8th inning. Phillies trying to battle back. They trail 9-4. Buddy Groom is coming on to pitch for the Orioles. 2 men on base, a run across, and nobody out. As the veteran workhorse Buddy Groom comes on, talks it over with Brook Fordyce, the catcher. Pitching change, 9-4 Orioles. Back after these messages. Veteran Buddy Groom is the new pitcher, 35 years of age. Groom, been a workhorse over the years. This will be his 27th game. He's won 1, lost 2, saved 3, a 4.64 ERA. 21 in the 3rd innings, 19 hits, 11 earned runs, has struck out 20, walked 3.
Big day for Marlon Anderson. Started with a 2-run home run, a long one. Next time up, got himself a real nice, well, that was Rollins last time. Got himself a nice bunt base hit, and there was the RBI hit by Marlon his last time up.
So he is 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs, 2 men on base, nobody out. He's going to try to bunt his way on, but took a breaking ball for a strike. Maryland has never faced this left-hander, Buddy Groom.
There's Turner Ward, who they just brought up from the minor leagues, a veteran who is a switch hitter.
A strike to Marlon Anderson. Hard ground ball off the glove of Segui, and Hairston falls down, and the ball gets away from Groom. Coming in to score, Travis Lee. Going to third, Estrada. And all of a sudden, it is a 9-5 game. Still nobody out in the 8th.
And David Segui, one of the best fielding first basemen in baseball, had a bullet hit at him, but had a play and doesn't make it. Watch. I mean, the runner's in his way a little bit right there. In fact, maybe Estrada distracted him, but still, he throws the ball away there when Anderson, he has no play on Anderson, and the inning continues. Here it is, the finish of the play here, as he was probably distracted a little bit by Estrada. Probably be a hit and an error.
Double error? Yeah, it's a double error on David Segui.
Who is, I said, really a good fielding first baseman.
So here is Turner Ward to bat for Real Cormier. First and third, nobody out. It's now 9-5. And Ward takes it wide for a ball, 1-0. He was hitting .284 in 44 games at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Lifetime batting average in the major leagues, .251. He's played for Cleveland, Toronto, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. And not holding Marlon Anderson on, so He wisely moves up to second base. No stolen base.
Mike Hargrove just looking on like, you got to be kidding me.
Two and nothing to Turner Ward. Breaking ball over for a strike.
Eddie Groom coming with a backdoor breaking ball here and getting it over.
Ward, 36 years of age. Chased the low fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Sinking fastball there from Groom, maybe out of the strike zone.
2-2 to Turner Ward. Ground ball, base hit, center field. 2 runs will score, and the Phillies are within 2 here in the 8th inning. It's 9-7. As Baltimore's bullpen continues to struggle. Turner Ward's first AB as a Philly is a successful one.
That sent Mike Hargrove right up the tunnel, and here comes Wiley, the pitching coach, out again. Good job by Turner Ward there. Hits a hard ground ball past the shortstop Roberts into center field. 4-run inning. Phillies have had 2 7-run innings in this series. Marlon Anderson has had some day, even though the last ball was recorded as an error. He's been on base 4 times today.
So it is now 9-7. Still nobody out in the 8th inning, and Ryan Kohlmeyer will get up in the bullpen.
He was in the game the other night, threw a couple of home run balls in his appearance.
Doug Glanville is 1 for 4.
There's Hargrove. He's back. Well, Phillies run a lot. Turner Ward not likely to run. He's had a lot of leg problems. That's one of the reasons why they had to DL him out of spring training.
Trying to bunt his way on, bunting foul. 1 strike to Doug Glanville.
What a great idea by Doug Glanville. If he could have caught Conine back at third and gotten that ball out on the turf. I mean, the Phillies are doing this all different ways. I mean, they really haven't scalded the ball in this inning. They're just getting base runners.
3 straight singles by Burrell, Travis Lee, and Johnny Estrada. Then the error, the double error on David Segui, and then a pinch single by Ward.
You see those guys on the bench, you know, you do this enough, all of a sudden you think it's going to happen again.
Oh, nice play by Groom. They're not going to turn the double play on the fleet Glanville, but they almost did. Glanville's only grounded into 1 double play, second toughest in the league to double up, but good play by Buddy Groom.
This ball looked like it had a chance to go right through the wickets and up the middle, too. It's a change-up. That's some play he makes.
Yes, it is.
And most guys are doubled on that. As Harry said, I mean, Glanville's so hard to double. It almost turns a spectacular double play here. Good turn by Richards, the shortstop, as he got a lot on that throw. Roberts, I mean, the shortstop.
Brings on Jimmy Rollins, who is 0 for 4. He has a 10-game hitting streak on the line. Just missing. 1 ball and no strikes to Rollins. Missed the breaking ball. 1-1.
Phillies pinch hitters, their bench has just been incredible this year. And Turner Ward, in his first appearance, knocks in a couple.
Chasing the breaking ball, 1-2 the count to Jimmy Rollins.
They're guarding the line now, too, with Conine at third. Rollins has a huge hole on that left side. Jimmy's overswinging a little bit right now. It's almost like he's trying to tie this up. You want to get a base hit, something here, and keep the inning alive. No.
Held his hands back. His body moved, but he kept the hands back. He did check the swing, 2-2.
Keeps pounding him inside with these sliders, too. And there you see Rollins hold up. They may be setting up to go away after all this stuff in.
Pretty well hit to the opposite field, but Richard makes the catch right in front of the warning track. And that's 2 down. Holding his ground at first is Doug Glanville. It'll bring up Bobby Abreu. Abreu has singled, fly to left, walked and singled. Ball for a strike. Breaking ball hit on the ground to Segui, and that will retire the side. Phillies score 4 in the inning. They do so on 4 hits. There were 2 errors and 1 man left. We go to the 9th.